AI agents have bested humans at many games, from chess to go to poker. Now, the machines can claim a new high score on the classic racing video game series, Gran Turismo. Sony announced today that its researchers have developed an AI driver named GT Sophie that is reliably superhuman, able to beat top human drivers in Gran Turismo Sport in back-to-back laps. You might think this an easy challenge. After all, isn't racing simply a matter of speed and reaction time and therefore is simple for a machine to master? But experts in both video game racing and artificial intelligence say GT Sophie's success is a significant breakthrough, with the agent showing mastery of tactics and strategy. Outracing human drivers so skillfully represents a landmark achievement for AI. Outracing human drivers so skillfully in a head-to-head competition represents a landmark achievement for AI, writes Stanford automotive professor J. Christian Gerards in an editorial in the scientific journal Nature that accompanies a paper describing the work. GT Sophie's success on the track suggests that neural networks might one day have a larger role in the software of automated vehicles than they do today. GT Sophie was trained using a method known as reinforcement learning, essentially a form of trial and error in which the AI agent is thrown into an environment with no instructions and rewarded for hitting certain goals. In the case of GT Sophie, Sony's researchers say they had to craft this reward function extremely carefully, for example, fine-tuning penalties for collisions in order to shape a driving style that was aggressive enough to win but that didn't lead to the AI simply bullying other racers off the road. Using reinforcement learning, GT Sophie was able to navigate around a racetrack with just a few hours of training and within a day or two was faster than 95% of drivers in its training data set. After some 45,000 total hours of training, GT Sophie was able to achieve superhuman performance on 3 tracks. For Gran Turismo Sport players, the tracks in question were Dragon Trail Seaside, Lago Maggiore GP, and Circuit de la Sarthe. A common concern when testing AI agents against humans is that machines have a number of innate advantages, like perfect recall and fast reaction times. Sony researchers note that GT Sophie does have some advantages compared to human players, like a precise map of the course with coordinates of track boundaries in precise information about the load on each tire, slip angle of each tire, and other vehicle state. But they say they accounted for 2 particularly important factors: action frequency and reaction time. GT Sophie's inputs were capped at 10 Hz compared to a theoretical maximum human input of 60 Hz. This sometimes led to human drivers displaying much smoother actions at high speeds, write the researchers. For reaction times, GT Sophie was able to respond to events in the game environment in 23 to 30 milliseconds, which is much faster than an estimated top reaction time for professional athletes of 200 to 250 milliseconds. To compensate, researchers added artificial delayed training GT Sophie with reaction times of 100 milliseconds, 200 milliseconds, and 250 ms. But as they found out, all 3 of these tests achieved a superhuman lap time. GT Sophie was tested against a trio of top e-sport drivers, Emily Jones, Valerio Gallo, and Igor Fraga. Although none of the humans were able to beat the AI in time trials, their matchups lead to them discovering new tactics. It was really interesting seeing the lines where the AI would go. There were certain corners where I was going out wide and then cutting back in, and the AI was going in all the way around, so I learned a lot about the lines, esports driver Emily Jones said in a testimonial in the Nature paper. Going into turn 1, for example, I was braking later than the AI, but the AI would get a much better exit than me and beat me to the next corner. I didn't notice that until I saw the AI and was like, okay, I should do that instead. Sony says it's currently working on integrating GT Sophie into future Gran Turismo titles but didn't offer a schedule for when this might happen.